baby, the mask always slips eventually. See, the media worked overtime trying to sell Caitlin Clark to all of us like she was the second coming of basketball. And it was like the NBA finally found this comfortable face that they could package up and market to the world about this is the WNBA. And even then, I was one of the few people that was like, nah, some about this don't sit right with me. And now y'all want to act shocked that she walked out with Morgan Wallen. Shocked for what? See, people tell you who they are all the time. Problem is, y'all keep giving soft spaces for racism and disrespect. When somebody benefits from the system, they rarely question it. Why would they? That's like expecting the casino to complain about the slot machine when the slot machines still make sure they get paid. And then many of you keep mistaking marketing for morality. Just because somebody smiles in your face don't mean they stand for you. A velvet glove can still hide a clenched fist.
You cannot put out a promotional poster celebrating the 30 years of the WNBA and there's no Caitlin Clark on it. And I'm saying to myself, I know I can't name half the women there. I guilty as charged. I am not a fan of it. I will never watch it. I don't care about it. But I do know who Caitlin Clark is. And for you to celebrate the 30 years of your sport that nobody has ever cared about until Caitlin Clark became a professional and not put her face, you're either brain dead, stupid, or you hate her.
She is the most famous player. You can't put one of her teammates on the poster, which they did.
Did they?
And not put her on the poster.
Like it actually bothers me. But because I can't figure out why.
What's up, family? Real talk. The WNBA just let a player punch Caitlin Clark in the throat on national TV and did nothing about it. And nobody in the media wants to call it what it really is. So let me break this all the way down in plain English. The receipts are insane. See, people tell you who they are all the time. The problem is, y'all keep giving soft spaces for disrespect. When somebody benefits from a system, they rarely question it. Why would they? That's like expecting the casino to complain about the slot machine, when the machine is still making sure they get paid. And here's the thing that gets me. So many of y'all keep mistaking marketing for morality, right? Just because somebody smiles in your face doesn't mean they actually stand for you. A velvet glove can still hide a clenched fist. That's exactly what happened here. The WNBA needed to sell something to the world. Women's basketball had been struggling for years. Nobody was watching. Nobody cared. The league was barely alive. Then Caitlin Clark came along. Suddenly, people started paying attention. Suddenly, there's interest. Suddenly, there's money on the table. So why did they, what did they do? They plastered her face everywhere. Look at this generational talent. Look at what's coming to the WNBA. They marketed her like she was their salvation. And to the casual viewer, it looked like they were celebrating her arrival. But if you were paying attention, if you were really watching, you can feel the hollow space underneath all that promotion. Because here's what I observed from the beginning. The way they talked about her was calculated. It was business. It wasn't love. It wasn't respect. They needed her to save the league, so they used her. They packaged her, they sold her story, but the energy underneath, that was different. You could feel it if you were listening close enough. The tone when they talked about her versus when they talked about other players, there was a difference. A coldness, like they knew they needed her, but they didn't like needing her. And that's when you know the real truth about people. Not when things aren't going good and everybody's smiling, but when the pressure starts, when the success shows up, when something or someone is actually making a difference. And that's when the true feelings come out. That's when you see if the love was real or if it was just business all along. The WNBA showed us exactly what it was. And now let's look at what actually happened on the court, because that's where the mask really slipped off, right? So I want to go to this next clip.
At some point, the WNBA needs to start actually protecting Caitlin Clark, because tonight, the Fever are playing against the Mercury. And a couple days ago, they played in the game, and it got very heated. There was a couple ejections, a lot of technical fouls. So everybody knew that tonight was going to be chippy. And in the first quarter, Clark was hooping.
Clark, sidestep three, fading, hits!
It's a quick little tween to a sidestep. A couple of plays later, she comes down and does this.
Clark, early in the bag, step back three, connects again!
Goes down, gets into her bag, hits a step back three. forces the Mercury to call a timeout. But later in the half, she drives in and falls down.
I mean, Caitlin.
Defenders jump on her, the ball pops out. All very normal stuff when there's a loose ball in basketball. Obviously, everyone's going to be trying to get the ball. But then Alyssa Thomas does this. Mind you, the ball is right here, and she is staring directly at Caitlin Clark.
To the ground, and, ooh, that's a...
Puts her fist directly on Clark's throat, and then pushes to get herself up. And there was no call. Look, man, I get it. She's cooking. Probably should not be allowed to put your fist on her throat.
I mean, the fist in the throat is crazy. It's crazy. It's dangerous. The landing spot, when you went to review it, and she still comes down on top of another foot, like, I don't know. Because to me, that's like a do-over on a test. How do you screw it up again? You're coming in here aware of what happened 2 nights ago? And that still happens? Absolutely unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. And the reckless closeout that they actually reviewed, and the foot still comes down on top of the defender's foot that wasn't upgraded? Absolutely disrespectful. We have a generational talent and a WNBA superstar who had 2 cheap shots right there that weren't called. And I just say, again, absolutely unacceptable.
Caitlin Clark got to fight one of these women. She has to fight one of these women. Now they will know the next time they try you, they are going to have to fight. You might lose, but they're not going to want to fight you every single time. And the fact of the matter is, they treat you like a roach that's intruded into their house. And a roach that steps into your house, you step on. That's what the hell you do to roach. And right now, Caitlin Clark, the WNBA athletes, they treat you like an insect. They just flick you around, they step on you, they shoot you around, they whoop you into the dustpan, open the window, and throw you the hell out. I'm not even saying fight them because you Jackie Chan or Bruce Lee. I'm just saying let somebody know, if you try me, we gonna have to tussle. That's it.
If you keep this up, there won't be no WNBA.
Oh, wow. That's the non-overreaction.
Yo, if Caitlin Clark said, you know what, man, I'm done, yo. I'm going to take my rich, successful self somewhere else, it would be a wrap. What would they do? What would they do? If Caitlin Clark said, you know what, today I'm done with the WNBA, where would the WNBA be? It would be over. Fans, you know how it goes when she don't play. Attendance drops, viewership drops, money going to drop. All I'm saying is, when Michael Jordan was the man, the NBA made sure, all right, we can't be doing the Pistons. Y'all can't be doing it to him no more. Give me another star, LeBron. Right? They made this whole big thing about him going to different teams, all that. Oh, it's the king. Let's put that shit underneath the rug. So when you got a star player like that, I go even better. Quarterbacks in the NFL, they hurt Tom Brady's knee. Oh, from now on, no more. You can't tie the quarterback by their knees. That's dead, bro. If you don't take care of the young GOAT, what the hell is going to happen to the WNBA?
You don't have an 11-year, $77 billion contract. You are building the league. You just reached an incredible collective bargaining agreement. You understand they did a great job with that. The league is growing, and it's reaching some of its aspirations, no doubt, but there's still a lot more work to be done. Don't get in the way of the cash cow. You don't sit up there and pave a way for her and don't compete. Nobody's implying that. But you certainly ride that tidal wave of popularity and use it to your advantage to build the game, not compromise and hurt the game by taking her out whenever you get the opportunity to do so. That's not smart. That's not smart at all.
Clark, I would seriously consider going to play overseas somewhere and get the royal treatment and get real money.
From the Saudis?
From somewhere. I mean, there's international.
She can't go to the Saudis.
Well, she can't go to the Russians either, as we saw that, Brittany Griner got stuck there.
She did. Well, yeah, in jail.
Right. So
can't take that money from PIF.
But a lot of the women actually do play, in European leagues because they supplement their income. But now supposedly their income is going up here, and I know that Caitlin makes a ton of money off the court in terms of endorsements, and rightfully so. But I think that there's a petty jealousy, and she's a straight white basketball player. And she is not being treated with any sort of respect whatsoever.
I'm pissed. After tonight's game, I'm pissed. And I'm clearly not alone in my sentiments, but the league has a serious officiating issue. And the fact that the way that they treat their generational talent is truly disgusting. The calls tonight were insane. Or the no calls tonight were insane.
Boston 23-9. Is this a foul move? Go ahead, load it up.
I like
this wasn't a call at all.
Getting punched in the face. So
What are you doing,
foul, bro?
Bitch, I swear they be doing Caitlin Clark so wrong, bro.
Let me see it again. Her shoes fire. Put her knuckles in her face.
Bro,
Look at that.
nah, hell nah, bro.
Bro, we gotta run the tape,
stepped
bro.
on her.
Where her teammates at,
Alyssa
bro?
Thomas ain't
Why?
playing.
Alyssa Thomas is on that at
Sorry
all
for that. I
times.
called you a bitch. My bad. I don't like that, bro. League gotta clean that up.
It's smoke too with them too.
This ain't the big three, bro.
Yeah,
That's insane.
DB left last year, and it's been hate ever since.
Caitlin gotta go out there and hit somebody back, cuz.
Get her ass beat.
If
Fuck
Caitlin,
it, bro.
she might be the only person in the W who can swing on somebody and not get suspended.
Gotta get some respect.
Yeah, bro. They gonna knock the Seagram gens off her lips, bro. So she need her teammates, bro. Where are the fucking studs at, bro? Pull up.
They're gonna knock the slot of rings out of her.
Yeah, rebound and protect me, bro. Fuck.
Where's that James Johnson at?
Like, for sure, man. It's crazy.
I need more people like Stacey Dales to be speaking up. Like, the sports world is too quiet for me. I need people to be coming out of the woodwork because this shit is fucking unacceptable. I know people don't like Caitlin Clark. I know they don't want to ever acknowledge what she's done for the WNBA. I know women in the WNBA, black women as a whole, want to act like she's just irrelevant and act like any old person off the street that can dribble a basketball can waltz into the WNBA and do what Caitlin Clark does. I know that's the narrative surrounding her, but I need more people to speak up about this. This is not sports. This is not why we get into sports. This is not sportsmanship behavior. This is not the mentality that we want to see on our screen. This is not what we're trying to teach our young women who want to get into basketball, who want to play sports. I need more people to speak up and to be more vocal about this. This is the face of women's sports in its entirety. No one has made the impact on women's sports that Caitlin Clark has made in a very, very, very long time, if ever. This isn't about good basketball. This isn't about competitiveness. This isn't about winning spirit and fire and passion. This isn't about any of this. This is about an irrelevant ass bitch named Alyssa fucking Thomas who was trying to get her lick back. The ball's rolling in the complete opposite direction. She sticks her knee into her groin and then she jams her fist into her throat with two other surrounding Phoenix Mercury players around her so she can do what the fuck she want like a coward ass bitch. I appreciate Stacey Dales for speaking up about this. I think Alyssa Thomas needs to be suspended indefinitely. Caitlin Clark came out and said that some ref named Gerda gave Caitlin Clark a tech for clapping. I think this deserves 3 technicals.
I mean, Caitlin to the ground and ooh, that's a hand to the neck and then Alyssa Thomas. I mean, Caitlin to the ground and ooh, that's a hand to the neck and then Alyssa Thomas steps over.
So you guys seen what the physicality looks like, because talk is one thing, marketing is one thing, but actions tells you everything. So let's break down what actually went down on that court. Caitlin Clark is playing against the Phoenix Mercury. She's doing what she does, cooking, hitting shots, running the offense. Early in the game, she's hooping. She hits a step back 3, forces them to call a timeout. She's in her bag. Then later in the first half, she drives in and falls down. It's normal basketball. Loose ball situation. Everybody's going for it. That's the game. But then Alyssa Thomas does something. And I want you to understand this clearly. The ball is rolling in the complete opposite direction when this happens. The ball ain't even in play no more. Caitlin's on the ground. Thomas looks directly at her and she puts her fist straight on Clark's throat. Then pushes down to get herself up, using Clark's throat to leverage herself off the ground. And the refs, nothing. No call, no protection, nothing. Think about that for a second. This ain't a hard foul. This ain't a flagrant play where somebody got caught up in the moment. The ball was already gone. This was a choice. Thomas made a deliberate decision to put her fist on another player's throat, and the league said nothing. And here's what I realized watching this. I agree. They treat her like a roach. And I mean that literally. When a roach steps into your house, as you guys heard in the clip, you step on it, you flick it, you swat it around. You throw it out the window like it doesn't belong near. And that's exactly how these players are treating Caitlin Clark. They flick her around on the court. They step on her. They throw cheap shots in the league. the league lets it happen. But it's deeper than just Thomas. The Mercury had players surrounding Thomas while she did it. Like they were protecting her so she could do whatever she wanted without consequences. And that's the pattern we're seeing. Not one incident, not one bad call, a pattern of physical attacks, no cause, no consequences, and the league is silent. Stephanie White, the Fever coach, said it after the game. Disrespectful and crazy, I quote. And those were her exact words. And she's right, because this is beyond basketball. This ain't about being physical. This ain't about competing hard. This is about disrespect. This is about treating someone like they don't belong in the league, like they're an insect that invaded the house and needs to be stepped on until they leave. And the crazy part, there were other players that got reviewed. There were other closeouts they looked at. They had a chance to get this right. They had a chance to say, no, that's not acceptable in our league. They had a chance to protect their generational talent, and they did nothing. They let it slide. 1 game suspension for Thomas. 1 game for putting your fist on somebody's throat when the ball wasn't even in play. That's when you know the league doesn't care. That's when the mask really slips. Because now we're about to see, I should say, how they defend this. And family, their defense is about to be even more revealing than the attack itself. But here's where it gets interesting. The league and the people defending them, they're trying to reframe what we're all seeing. They're trying to tell us that calling out what's happening to Caitlin Clark is actually the problem. Let me explain what I mean. Jemele Hill, she came out and said something that reveals exactly how desperate the defense is. She called the whole thing a right-wing conspiracy theory. A conspiracy theory. That's what she said. She said that people claiming Caitlin Clark is being targeted because of her race and her identity because she's straight and white. That's a conspiracy theory that people made up. And you know what strikes me about this? There's a double standard. So it's a double standard so thick you can cut it with a knife. When a black person experiences a microaggression from a white person, people like Jemele Hill are the first ones to cry racism. The first ones to say bigotry, the first ones to pull out the receipts and explain how systemic everything is. And I'm not saying they're wrong to speak up, but the bar suddenly becomes impossible to clear where we're talking about what's happening to Clark. And here's the thing that makes this hollow. These same WNBA players have gone on record saying they don't like the attention Caitlin Clark is getting. They said it out loud. They admitted it, and they know exactly why she's getting that attention, because she's a straight up basketball player with grit, courage, and talent blowing out of this water. She just works hard. So when you look at it, and these players admitting that they don't like Caitlin Clark getting this attention because she's a straight white basketball player, those were their words, not mine, their words. So how is it a conspiracy theory when they literally told us the truth themselves? Right? Boomer Eison broke it down on air. He called it what it is: petty jealousy, as you guys heard in the clip. He said there's jealousy because she's a straight white basketball player, getting attention and endorsements and success. You know what Jemele Hill did? She tried to make his observation racist. But don't take my word for it, family. I want you guys to hear it for yourself.
If you dish it out, you got to be able to take it. And it seems like Caitlin has always been able to take it. Her fans don't. Her fans think anything done to Caitlin Clark is some larger conspiracy, is rooted in jealousy. And they like to use that word jealousy, which frankly, I think is a racially coded word. Because what they're really trying to say, especially because you have black women in this league, black women, as in me and Carrie, talking about Caitlin Clark, they throw jealousy because they feel like as black women, we have this undercover jealousy of white women. We do not. Black women as a whole, I feel comfortable. Rarely do I feel comfortable speaking for an entire group of people, but I'm going to speak for black women right now when I say black women are not jealous of white women. And that's on everything I love. I will say that confidently. Okay. And so any criticism of Caitlin Clark is always rooted in their mind of some larger deep down issue that black women have with white women.
Watch this.
Caitlin Clark, I would seriously consider going to play overseas somewhere and get the royal treatment and get real money. But a lot of the women actually do play, in European leagues because they supplement their income. And I know that Caitlin makes a ton of money off the court in terms of endorsements, and rightfully so. But I think that there's a petty jealousy, and She's a straight white basketball player, and she is not being treated with any sort of respect whatsoever.
That is Norman Boomer Esiason. Boomer, for the record, played in the NFL from 84 to 97, even bagged an MVP trophy. Now, his rant came after a very chippy game with Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever, and the Phoenix Mercury. Fever head coach Stephanie White would call the rough play disrespectful and crazy. Now, let's break down Boomer's take here. First off, he's proving he's not a ball knower. If Caitlin Clark were to go overseas, it would be more physical than the W. Second, why is he bringing up that because she is straight and white, she should then go overseas to play? As Jemele Hill even said, is he implying Caitlin Clark should receive special treatment because she's straight and white? Yeah, that's my read as well. Keith would have a really good comment. It's hard being a Clark fan who isn't insane or a thinly veiled bigot, because you might say normal stuff like, I don't think she should get chokeslammed, but then it looks like you're standing with these racist hacks. Now, should you be surprised by this? Coming from Boomer Esiason, no, just remember his Jackson Dart, Donald Trump, Abdul Carter rant. He basically pulled the same old shtick of respect the office. When do you get the opportunity to introduce a president? And, you know, people probably hated Barack Obama, okay? False equivalency. Then he would label Abdul Carter a child for blasting Dart on social media. The funniest part about all this is that he was recalling on the air Jackson Dart stating he and Abdul Carter spoke man to man. Then Esiason said, there was only one man on that call, and it was Jackson Dart. What a fucking loser. Then when the Knicks won the chip, he expressed a form of hopefulness that they would visit Donald Trump in the White House and James Dolan would go see his friend. This is the same dude who called out Colin Kaepernick over and over and over again by bringing politics into sports. He said Kaepernick was about as disrespectful as any athlete he's seen. Yet when another player brought politics into sports, Boomer said nothing. When American athletes at the Winter Games chose to use their platforms to speak out, he basically said, play for the country, respect the flag, essentially shut up and dribble.
All right. So you guys heard what Jemele Hill said. She tried to make his observation racist. She tried to frame the word jealousy as racially coded language. She said it's what people really mean when they want to say something else, but that's not what he was saying. He was just describing what the players themselves already admitted. And here's what I want you to really understand. Why does pointing out that someone is being targeted because of their identity suddenly became controversial? Why does defending a person from physical assault get labeled as bigotry? That's the real question, because these people have already confessed. They already told us what's motivating this. The jealousy is on record. The resentment is documented. But the moment you name it for what it is, suddenly you're a conspiracy theorist. Suddenly you're a bigot. Suddenly you're trying to start a race war. The mask is slipping harder here than anywhere else. The league can't defend what's actually happening on the court. Stephanie White called it disrespectful and crazy, which is the head coach of the Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark's team. Even she can't defend it from a sportsmanship perspective. So instead, the league's allies attack the people telling the truth. They don't address the assault. They don't address the pattern. They attack the messenger, and they try to make speaking the truth sound like hatred, as you guys can see in this clip. But that game doesn't work anymore. Too many people are seeing it. Too many people understand that you can't put your fist on somebody's throat and have that be acceptable. Too many people understand that admitting jealousy out loud and then acting on that jealousy with violence, that's not a conspiracy theory. That's just the truth being lived out in real time. So when they attack people like Boomer was saying, what everybody already knows, when they call observation a conspiracy, when they make defending the player sound like bigotry, that tells you something. It tells you the league knows what's happening. It knows it's wrong, and it's choosing to protect the perpetrators anyway. And that's a choice, and choices have consequences. Now, let's talk about something that makes this even more absurd: money. Because without Caitlin Clark, the WNBA is struggling. We all know this. It's not a secret. When she doesn't play, attendance drops, viewership drops, money goes down. That's not an opinion. That's an observable fact. She is the reason people are tuning in. She's the reason families are buying tickets, and she's literally the reason the league is getting attention from major networks and sponsors who wouldn't have looked twice at women's basketball 5 years ago. And here's the part that should make every executive in that league lose sleep. She's the reason players are getting paid more. The new collective bargaining agreement they just reached, the increased salaries, the better benefits, that didn't happen in a vacuum. That happened because suddenly there was money in women's basketball, and where did that money come from? Caitlin Clark, her presence, her talent, her marketability, and she is the foundation that the entire new deal is built on. But the players in the league are hell bent on destroying that, and they are actively sabotaging the very thing that's making their paychecks bigger. That's not just bad business, that's institutional suicide. And look at how other players protect their stars, as you heard in the clips. When Michael Jordan was the man, the NBA made it clear to the Pistons and everybody else, you can't be doing that to him. There were rule changes. There was protection because the NBA understood that Jordan was the product. LeBron James, same thing. Rules changed. Protection was put in place. The NFL, when players started hitting Tom Brady knees, they changed the entire rule book. No more hitting quarterbacks below the waist. They protected their investment because they understood that their stars are their business. But the WNBA won't protect the only reason people are watching. The only star they have that's actually moving the needle. They just got a new collective bargaining agreement, and they're talking about building the league, about growth, about aspirations. But you don't build by sabotaging. You don't grow by letting your generational talent get disrespected and beaten on. That's not how this works. And I'm telling you right now, if Caitlin Clark walked away tomorrow and said, I'm done, I'm taking my talents overseas, I'm taking my endorsement deals overseas, I'm done with this, the WNBA would collapse. It wouldn't be slow, it would be quick. Because they built everything on the foundation she created, and she is that foundation. And the executives running this league are in bed with the players doing the targeting. They probably feel the same way. They're probably thinking, why did our league suddenly become popular? Because this great white girl started playing, quote unquote. That resentment is probably sitting in the same rooms where they're making decisions. And that's why nothing is being done. That's why Thomas got a 1-game suspension, as you guys can see on the screen. That's why the pattern continues. Here's the truth. A strategic boycott is the only language the league understands. Fans need to send one message: protect your star or lose your audience. And that's what it will possibly come down to, because most of individuals who took interest in the WNBA came in droves because of Caitlin Clark. So it can be a possibility based on patterns of it happening before when Caitlin Clark was out on injury and couldn't play. Individuals wasn't tuning in. So they will make this a boycott for standing up for their star player. But can you blame them? Let me know in the comments about that, family. Is it fair that if the league won't protect their star player, that the fans do by not tuning in? Because the simple fact is they want to make sure that the standard is a standard. And when it comes to protecting all players and Caitlin Clark, not selective targeting. Let me know in the comments. Because if the WNBA goes under, nothing is lost except what could have been. Caitlin Clark could go overseas, get paid more money, actually be respected and be protected. And she'll be fine. The league wouldn't. So Proverbs chapter 27, verse 12 says, the prudent see danger and take refuge. The WNBA sees danger, Caitlin Clark's success, and instead of taking refuge and protecting it, they're walking straight into the fire. For those not spiritual, here's the plain truth. Jealousy destroys organizations from the inside out. When people would rather see something fail than see someone they don't like succeed, everybody loses. Like, share, and subscribe. Turn on your post notifications. Spread this truth, family. Spread that peace, love, and positivity. I'll catch you next one. On that note, family, peace.